Hello, everyone. Welcome to the last tech talk of this year. We are super glad to have you all here in this event. And today we have our very own Juan Oliu, who is going to explain to you how AI tools can streamline your development workflow and boost efficiency. So if you have any questions during this tech talk, we'll be using a Slido to a platform to ask your questions. So you can scan the code and leave all your questions there. So we also be sharing the link and the code on our YouTube chat too. So welcome, Juan. Thank you for being here with us. It is really a special tech talk, and we are also really are grateful or thanks with the Montevideo team for being there with you in this really special tech talk. So without any further ado, thank you, Juan, for being here. The stage is all yours, so take it away.
Amazing introduction, Catherine. Let's get started with this. So, I am Juan Liu. I've been recently joining Howdy as a software engineer, and today I'm going to talk about some ways that you can use some of the AI tools to leverage your skills as a developer. Let's start by a brief intro. So, it may seem like the AI is an event with no precedence, but I disagree a lot of this matter. I believe like the industry has been undergoing a series of radical changes driven by many things across all history. AI of one of them. If you, for example, think of some centuries ago, within the Industrial Revolution, we used at that time to have some farm animals such as oxen and horses powering some old machines to plow fields. At that time, something that happened is that we started adopting some machines, especially because of the vapor machines such as the tractor. But I must say this met resistance. People weren't used to do this. The adoption took many decades for the people. This is not like so fast. We can see another type of this phenomenon, like for example, architects. Some decades ago, the architects used to use some geometry tools to manually create the groupings. Used to design buildings, houses. Nowadays, every architect must know how to use some software tooling, like example AutoCAD is a must-have tool. And again, this is something that is more resistance. So what happens with AI tool? Well, although humanity changed and evolved through time, the human nature always stayed the same. So we are going to be repeating the same patterns of conduct all over and over and over again against history. So we need to take a look at history and understand what happens when there is a disruptive change that forces us to start doing things another way, especially when it enables us to be more productive in what we do. So this is a question, an open question actually, but if we cannot deny the long-term benefits, I'm going to ask, why is change so often met with resistance? I can distinguish three things. Uh, it's funny because I actually had some animations in the PPT, but I don't know what I can see them here. But no worries. The first one to me is instinctive fear. We're not 100% rational beings. Actually, we're more emotional than rational. So although I can say that um, it's rational to think that the AI can make us more productive, sometimes it's normal to have like this fear that we're going to be losing our jobs. Sometimes people can behave such like ostrich that bury their head into the ground to avoid reality and avoid what's going on. Second one is attachment to routine. When you start developing, you start learning a new programming language, you probably start a new project, start learning a framework, a way of doing things, methodologies such as Scrum, peer reviews. And when you get used to that, it's more like a mechanical thing. It's a routine. And it's really, really difficult by instinct to people like to put that step aside of that routine and start using other ways of doing things. Um, the first one to me is the most interesting. That is the sphere of mental atrophy. Some people think that when you start developing with AI, you're going to become a dumb person in the long term. I don't think so, but it's real. Many people think so, and they try to avoid it. To me, it's kind of like similar to a kid when you show them the calculator and you say, "I'm not doing any math if I'm going to be using a calculator." And if you talk with a mathematician, it says doing calculations is not math at all. We focus ourselves on creative thinking, and this is kind of similar scenario to me. So, what's the cause of resistance? Let's start talking about stalling progress. Some tasks might be tedious nowadays with some AI tooling. Those kind of tasks, if you refuse to start using AI, something that could take like less than a minute, could start taking like 3-4 hours. Right now, it might not be a deal, but let's say in 5 hours, that would not be acceptable. Second one, and I will repeat that, it's like a really famous phrase, not mine. AI will never take your job, but someone who can use it effectively definitely will. And the third one is that to me we should avoid like spending time on low value activities, and instead we should start like shifting our focus to creative and impactful work. So let's go for the happy path. Which are the benefits actually of embracing AI? Well, first of all, we started thinking about writing code in a different way. Our focus should not be in anything like as serious or manual as writing a code, but something else, designing high quality solutions. Second one is that I encourage everyone to read on a daily basis. And I love people who learn programming by reading books, blog posts, assisting conference or similar events. But start using AI to educate yourself. You can learn like in a more digested way, like filter for your needs. You can be much more productive in this way. For one, everything that should be automated needs to be automated. Let's start thinking again what's manual and what is not with the use of AI. So, in what ways can we add AI tools to our day-to-day work? Let's take a look at some tools and use cases. Okay, this is supposed to be a video. I'm scared because I have many videos on this presentation. Let's think of. I wanted like to take a more practical approach, in which I decided like to do a real project. So let's say that Jacqueline just signed a new contract with a new startup that is basically an inherited e-commerce platform. Have like 4 special elements. First one is a high technical debt. This could be seen in the video. Second one, pure UI UX design. Of course, value features that we will need to start implementing our results. And fourth one, but not least, really that tight deadlines. Are we going to refuse this opportunity? That's the idea. We should never think of that when we're embracing any project. So for this project, let's start thinking of ways of how AI tooling can help us turn this case into a good project. Okay, so let's start by ways of using AI integrated into your code editor on a daily basis. I personally use Cursor AI. This is a development tool that, from the ones of you who don't know it yet, it was born as a fork from VS Code. So you can reuse all the plugins, for easily export the configuration, and reuse all the same hotkeys or anything like you have configured. So from VS Code to Cursor AI, it's a really easy adoption. Let's start for the first and most elemental case. generating code for features, bug fixes, or anything that is like a listed layer like as a task. We have a concrete problem on this project. We are requested to add a new validation to the add to cart feature. We need to check if the product already exists in the cart. How are we going to be using Cursor AI? Well, this tool provides an embedded chatbot interface where we can select from multiple LLMs. I personally use Claude 3.5, but there are many you can use, including ChatGPT. You can also provide, apart from the module UR or some of code, like the whole project as a context. Let's focus on the case of use and some perspective from the user, not the code itself. So, oh my god. Andy, can you help me or we have to improvise?
I think you should spend some time trying to fix it.
Yeah.
Okay. This was supposed to be a GIF displaying like the use case I just described, which I must say is very unfortunate, but let's see. Yeah, that is much better. Thank you a lot. That's the thing I love about live demos. No, go to the previous ones. Where's the third point? We should go to the first one.
The video worked.
No, this is not from this one. Okay, we're having some technical issues. If the first one doesn't work anymore, let's just skip to the second one. But there it is. Catherine, Andy, I believe I can use the control to select the slides. Let me try to control it myself, and if not, I'm going to ask for assistance. Thank you a lot. You're doing a great work. Okay, so sorry for the inconvenience, guys. Let's continue with this. So you can easily like select a block of code here, add like an embedded chat interface in which you can select like a module, pass either a block of the whole module or a block of code, and also you can provide the whole code base. And in this case, I'm going to just request like to perform the feature. What's interesting is that we're not seeing that, but within the module I selected, that function was not located there, but the editor itself could locate it and just add like the change I needed. Awesome, right? I could do this task like just in I don't know, less than a minute. Go to the next slide, please. Either Andy or Catherine. I thought I had control, but it doesn't seem that way. Next one. Okay, so it was kind of okay, the solution I have, but I must be honest, I hate the output of that code. It works, but it's not clean code at all. So what should I do on those cases? And this applies to me to every case of use of AI. Think of this as an iterative process in which you should start like defining your solutions, and on every iteration start giving like more granular instructions. Okay, so let's go to the next one. Andy, Catherine, you'll have to assist me. I'm going to raise my hand every time I want to activate the next one.
Next slide, please, is the phrase.
Yeah, but people are going to get tired if I say it all the time. Okay, so what should we do in this case? Well, use grammar instructions, use error refinements and mention. So given that code, a good prompt wouldn't be made a container path. Click. Next one. refactor the code that was a prompt. I just select only the code I want to change, and I like this prompt. I say reduce cognitive complexity, use error returns, use a more functional approach to improve legibility, and give it a prompt and log of code. Look at the changes. It's a much cleaner version of the code I generated. You should always follow this approach. We need to achieve excellence or lead very good solutions. So let's continue to the next one. First one, what happens when you are using an inherited project and you find either a flow, a library, or just complex code that you do not understand? Are you going to check for documentation? That's good, but let's start by using some code-based querying. You can use the same editor to ask questions about the code. So go to the next one. When, for example, we found that we have no experience on writing front-end tests and the project includes them, that's an issue because we have to learn it and we have to deliver, and we do not have so much time to learn. We have tight deadlines. So let's at least identify and understand the libraries that are being used in code base and break down a familiar logic or workflows to help us clarify how parts of the application interact. Within this context, a good prompt could be click, and go to the next one. I saw the test. I have no idea what is JS, what's integration test, how to do tests on the front-end code. But I don't care that much because I have AI, right? I can ask it solve and I can easily provide context. Look at this. I have like really complete documentation that is going to educate me in just a matter of minutes about how can I use this kind of integration test, or at least how they work. And this brings me to my next case of use. Go to the next one. Testing. Unless you perform test-driven development, you can easily end a new feature, fix, or whatever you do, and easily request an AI to create the text for you. So I go to the next one. If, for example, I just created a new page and I do not know yet too much about how to do integration tests here, well, let's relate that to the AI, right? I could just go to the next one and the next one. I can just select the complete feature I just built, request to based on this module, identify the main use cases, and create integration tests from a user experience perspective. Look at that. I have a really good explanation of what is testing, how it is doing it, and the whole code to do so. That's amazing. That's amazing. It's impressing me how fast has this evolved, especially over the last year. Let's end up with the last use of case for Cursor AI. Let's go to the next one. Okay, I personally love writing blog posts. I love doing spikes on projects. I love to research. I hate writing tedious documentation such as some readme on a project or some I don't know, requirements of a new project or pre-sale stage. Why I don't like them? Mainly because they are really manual and tedious. And what is good is that manual and tedious are really good things to delegate to an AI. So go to the next one. Let's say I want to create a whole README for new coming developers to this project. Well, I can pass some instructions of what do I want to include, provide the whole context, and as you can see on the next one, I like to starting from the dependency manager, provide the whole context, pass a very detailed prompt on what I want to add and what not to add. Optionally, add a similar template or similar readme for another project, like as a template. And for that, I can have like a really rough version of the readme. Is it final readme? What it shouldn't. Remember the second point. Try always to refine the created solution until you have something that is either aiming excellence or at least a very good solution. So let's go to the next one. For sure, Cursor AI offers a very interesting range of features for development. However, I believe that there are some scenarios which is not enough, or other tools I can use. One of them I really like from front-end development. Go to the next one. Is this tool. Go to the next one. What is V0? Well, V0 is a tool that was created by the Versal team. Um, it contains an LLM that was specially fine-tuned to develop application for front-end that has high-quality code solutions along with outstanding UI UX using latest trends, libraries, and some patterns. How can I use this? How is can be different from either ChatGPT or Cursor AI? Go to the next one. Well, next slide. Yeah. We said previously that we didn't like that much the solution we had on our shopping cart, mainly because it has an outdated design, clutter and inconsistent user interface, and we need a fast way and effective like to revamp all this design. We could take an approach or like start like identifying like very minor points and start like refactoring the previous code. I don't want to waste time on that. I want to start it from scratch. Can this be achieved? Maybe. B0 can be a good option for that one. Go to the next one. So you didn't see it before, so here's the video again. This is the existing product we have. It's not that bad, either not that good. I, again, don't want to refactor it. I want a new solution from scratch. How am I going to do it? Go to the next one. Start the video. First of all, I'm going to add this simple prompt. I'm going to request it to create a new one that is visually appealing. It is built on React, it is JavaScript, Tailwind, nice animations. And I'm also going to attach a screenshot of the existing one. Yeah, screenshots. What I'm going to get here, you'll be seeing that in a matter of seconds, not minutes. If you believe that's creating the model, you're wrong. It's creating a new whole project. And take a look at that. It's very clean React code in a matter of minutes. I'm not counting, of course, the time it took me to write the prompt, but the general it's really simple. It's also using some reusable components there. It uses HCM, it's using also Tailwind, it's including some animations. Here's the preview. It's nice, but it's not a final product. But it's kind of nice to start all over again from this, much better than the other one I had. Because from this as a template, I can easily customize it to have it like really better solution. So let's go to the next one. Let's take a look at some of the benefits. First of all, we can start focusing on our business logic, not that much on coding. We can minimize human errors or repetitive tasks. This tool is pre-trained model with the latest UI UX standards. Accessibility features by default. These always are hard to get, always weak for startups. And we also generate modular reusable code. So it's kind of amazing. But go to the next one. Good for prototyping. Oh, I forgot about this. This is something that has been added some weeks ago. Right now, B0 has a new integration with Figma. You can provide a whole Figma file with all the designs, and you can just ask B0 to implement all the code for those designs. This is amazing. It's going to be revolutionizing the way we create front-end solutions. Go to the next one. But of course, not everything is rainbow flowers. There are some considerations we have to keep in mind. As I mentioned all over again in the presentation, this is not a result, it's a template of the final product. Our job shouldn't be writing code, but we need to fully understand the solution. Why so? Because maybe a 10-year-old kid can create something similar quality, but when we ask him to change something or to fix an issue, that person is going to have a really rough time. When you want to start the code of the solution, we can easily start using some grammar instructions or edit it ourselves. So if you don't understand the solution, use AI to educate yourself, but never, never, never accept there is something that you do not understand or you do not master. Other thing is that it's limited creativity and flexibility. It was pre-trained to use some libraries like ChatCM, Tailwind, some specific animation for some use cases. I'm thinking, oh yeah, and it was leaked some weeks ago that every time you request an SVG, it's going to be using the one from the Seed React library. Also, keep in mind that the versions that you are delivering might not be compatible with the ones you're using on the project, so that's something you need to take care of. Let's continue. Some scenarios need to address some complex problems or very specific questions, and I may not have a specialized AI tailored solution to tackle that issue. In these situations, I recommend relying on a versatile general purpose AI. Go to the next one. The one I use, but you can use anyone that you like, is ChatGPT, especially the 4.0 and 4.1 versions. These are some of the use cases I usually use. Let's say, for example, we want to tackle some really complex issues that are related with architecture itself. Let's say this commerce has like, I don't know, on a daily basis, 100K users. But on flash sales for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, it can go up to 1 million concurrent users. We need to be very careful on this architecture. This could be a really good consultant on some design pattern on commonly used architectures on AWS infrastructure or whatever you're using. Go to the next one. Some issues can be really bothering, really complex. We can always rely on this to provide some context and to explain what's going on, to either have a solution or at least a lead where to look for us. Go to the next one. Cross-domain problem solving. You can be an excellent backend engineer, you can be an excellent front-end engineer, you can be a QA, you can be a designer, but some issues have some cross-domain problem solving. And the AI could at least give you a lead where to look or what to ask to other people. Next one. Other stuff, it's when we're researching, sometimes we have to have like need to have like a set of alternatives or at least places to look at given a problem. Great tool for this, kind of similar to the first one, but really good. Go to the final one. Okay, this is something I really like. Actually, Alvarito told me to add it, and I agree with him. Is that who has ever like dealt with a rough scenario with a client or an important stakeholder in which we have like this sensible message and we want like to take the necessary actions in the best way for both parties. Let's say, for example, we have a last minute message in which a client is requesting additional features who were not negotiated on the project. Sometimes what you do is instead of start writing the answer, I think of three things. What I want to communicate, what I want to communicate. I can never communicate that I'm creative saying I'm creative. That's not creative at all. Some things need to be communicated either by actions or maybe implicit in the message. The third one, more important, what do you want to generate on the other person? You need to start communicating, thinking on what do you want to generate is like as an effect of this action. By adding this to the prompt, go to the next one, you can easily generate a really good response for this scenario. This applies to those situations, either on Slack, emails, on some meetings, GitHub issues. Remember, we work with machines, but we work for humans. We need to take these matters into consideration. Go to the next one. We are wrapping up this session. We have some inconveniences, but improvisation is always a good ally. So as we wrap up this session, I want to take at least 3 takeaways from all this talk. Go to the next one. Next one. There are thousands. There is actually like a site, I don't remember right now, but it tells that there are like something like 24,000 solutions on AIs nowadays. And every day that number increases. I don't care as much. I don't care that much about the number of tools you use as much as you care about the way you use them. So start experimenting yourself, finding like new ways to solve different problems. Let's always try to educate yourself and our teams, or even our surroundings. So explore new ways to use AI. Go to the next one. No, previous one, please. Oh, sorry. My bad. I mixed up with the order. So everything that should be automated, that could be automated, should be automated. Start distinguish what are manual tasks from some creative work. With the introduction of AI, some things that need to be creative and manual. So start putting that in perspective and try to be as productive as you can and focus on meaningful and creative work. That's where the most interesting stuff is, and that's where we can get the best out of different situations. Bless you. Go to the next one. The final one is that we experience a lot of change along all history of humankind. What is really different about this one is that it's evolving at a velocity that has never been before. Everything is going to be changing a lot in the next 5 years, but also on the next year, but also on the next 3 months. So we need to stay up to date and be updated, and now more than ever. We can afford to fall behind. Train yourself to constantly rededicate and avoid falling into rigid patterns. Educate yourself to be self-critical and embrace change as an opportunity to growth. With this, go ahead to the next one. I'm ending this with kind of like a reflection. So this is like too fancy to me, but I'm going to read it. AI might be the bridge to a smarter, more efficient way of working and creating. Use today takeaways, always having in consideration to embrace change, focus on growth, and lead the way in shaping the future. Thank you a lot for your time. Any questions?
Thank you, Juan, for this interesting topic, for taking your time to explaining this to us. And yes, we got a couple questions here. So the first one is, what do you think engineers' daily routine will look like with AI tools in the next 3 or 5 years?
Can you write it down?
Yeah, of course. There it is. What do you think engineers' daily routine will look like with AI tools in the next 3 or 5 years?
It's hard to me to think what's going to be like in the next year. So I'm not going to answer that. But I can think of front-end development as a really manual task. Like the focus will be on designers, for example, designment of solutions. I believe that there's more room for more tooling, and a lot of companies are working in that direction. Also, I believe that there are some tooling that is going forward towards not only giving as an output some text, some knowledge, but doing some actions. In the near future, we'll be seeing some tooling that you just like describe a feature and it's going to write the code, create the PR, perform the deploy, the CI/CD. So to me, like that's kind of the next step that we'll be seeing in the near future. Probably less than a year. Hope that answered the question.
Okay, the second one. If AI tools are leveraging technical skills, what other skills do you think are becoming more important in engineers?
People tend to think that an AI is kind of a human, but it's more like a calculator. If you start learning how an AI works, you realize that it's not smart at all. So start putting in perspective what a human can do and an AI does not. Start thinking on more creative work and solutions, and pay a lot of attention to how a senior engineer uses AI versus how a junior engineer uses AI. If you pay close attention, you're going to see really uh, big differences. And great part of that big difference is what separates, like what differentiates creative work or meaningful, impactful work from manual work. Like for example, with AI, we can start taking the role as a tech lead. Usually, a tech lead doesn't write that much code, but give direction to the project and what we're doing. Start thinking of that way, even on every role, so that junior developer or even as a trainee.
All right, so thank you for your thoughtful answers, Juan. Thank you for being here with us today. It was a pleasure to be here with you and with you all during all of this year with our tech talks. So I'll see you next year, and I hope you have a great day. So thank you all, everyone. Thank you for being here. Bye bye.
Thank you all for your time.